Hello again everyone and welcome to Stitch Bliss Corner. I'd like to say hello to all my subscribers, and if you're here for the first time, welcome. And what I'm going to do today, I have a finish, and for my regulars they'll all know what that one is. And also I'm going to go through some of my whips and some of the pieces that I've finished. McKenna, you'll have to put a blindfold on because you won't be happy. I've got so many that I haven't framed yet, but I will get round to it, I promise you. Alright, so without any further ado, this is the one that I've worked on, that I've now finished, Harlequin. And I took my Harlequin, my husband, to the framing shop, and he chose the frame. I think he's chosen well. And it is for him. It's going into his little den. He's already had it up, actually. I had to take it off the wall to bring it in. So, here it is. Sorry, I'm just going to push you back a bit so that you can see it a bit better. I'll get a bit closer up. Can't quite see what I'm doing, but I'm hoping that it's showing. If the purple picks out the purple in his hat, and of course I put the hair tail on myself. That wasn't in the original, and the actual fabric, and you can't really see it, it's opalescent and it's green and it sparkles through. So there he is, making his final appearance before a cast of thousands. So anyway, that's him done. So I very much enjoyed doing him. I'm just going to put it down carefully because that's easier said than done. And I thought what I would do today is go through in no particular order. Oh, before I do that, I better show you my update on the Scout. There he is. The legs of the horse are coming through now. And I'm going to work across here and get the rest of the horse in there. And then I'm going to work up to the horse's head. Because the foreground, I think I've mentioned before, is full stitches. And then as I go up, the background, originally I was going to do half stitch in the foreground as far as the prairie is concerned, but then I thought no, I'm going to do full stitch in the front, and then once I get the rest of the horse in, I'll do some half stitch for the top part to suggest distance, which I've done. Here I've done some. So anyway, that's him. Now I have made a start on my Harlequin, the Cezanne Harlequin. Yes, that's right. But there isn't a lot there. So I thought, well, I'll show you in my next video how I prepared him again and just go through. McKenna seemed to think it was very amusing when I showed you last time my great big chart that I stuck together of the new Harlequin I'm doing. And I don't know if she thought I was going to actually work off that, but that's not the case. I put it all together. I've got the same with the Scout here. I've put him all together, but I work off the individual pages. So as long as she thought that I could actually use it for a blanket if I fell asleep. Anyway, so let me go on here. Now, this one you've all seen before, but I thought I'd just show you again. This is my very first video. I showed you this one. And I actually did another one from this series. So it's really just to show you the other one that I did. And that's this one here. It's Anchor again. And if you look there, you'll see how I have a propensity for overworking things. So just remember what that looks like. And then I'll show you what I did. I think it was more because I wanted to suggest the shimmering fabric, you know, the silks and everything that were just so spectacular. So I had a great deal of enjoyment doing this. But as you can see here, I've put a lot of sparkly in there, which you probably can't see very well anyhow, so but you can when it's live, as you might say, in front of you. She needs a good iron and everything. And I did all the couching once again rather than a lot of backstitch. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you that one when I was going through all my whips and different things in my bag, because a lot of these have been packed away for ages because we've been travelling and, you know, living temporarily in different... Once our children were independent, well, you know, we started wandering off a little bit, so some of these things have been packed away for a long time. Now this is, I suppose, what you would call a bit of an Australian icon, insofar as you get a lot of little country seaside villages, as you might say, along the coast, and this is typical of 50s and 60s, where you'd go off to the, you know, if you were travelling through, you'd pull over somewhere and there'd be a little shop that you could go and buy your bread or whatever you were getting. Yes, so, and I'm not quite sure why this is. I mean, maybe it's because I've got a bit of Gemini in me, but that was another one that I decided to do two of. So I haven't quite finished the second one. I have no idea why I thought it was a good idea to do two of them. No idea whatsoever. So that's that one. Then I did this one, which was Feng Shui, wind and water. And again, there is not a hint of anything sparkly in there, not a hint of it. But I still managed to get some in there. I just did some little stitchings along the edge. You know, I don't know what that is in me, that I have to be sparkling things up all the time. Now this little one, and this would have been a while ago because I think I probably had my daughter in mind when I started this. And she's not a child anymore, as you can imagine. I mean, she'll always be my child, but you know what I mean. This one here. And I think it reminded me a little bit of my father, because he used to always read to us every night. There were 3 of us. And Mum used to come in to see why everything was so quiet. Because Dad used to, you know, he'd sit in the bed with the 3 girls, and we'd all be listening to him read the story. And he'd be fast asleep, and we'd all be sitting there waiting for the next line of the book, of the story. And yeah, so that reminds me a bit of Dad reading to us. So anyway, how far did I get with this one? Oh well, I think maybe I was getting, the colours didn't seem quite as bright as I thought they were going to be, but I'm sure that if I decided to finish it, it'd probably come up all right. So that's that one. Right, now this one here came free with a cross-stitcher free kit. Now, cross-stitching magazine, March 2009, cross-stitcher, and this was the original one there. And I've added some little bamboo leaves in the background there. And what else did I do? Oh, I think that's pretty much all I did. I'm not sure why I did that, but that's that one. Right, this one I couldn't find the original for. It's a little possum. I don't do a lot of animals, but he must have appealed in some way. Now this one, that's from the Teddy Tum Tum collection. That's called Toasting, of course, and I think that's the reason why this one appealed to me, because it reminded me very much of my childhood, when we all used to toast our bread in front of the fire in the morning to make our toast. So that's that one. What have I got here? Oh, the bluebells. Yes, John Clayton Designs. Bluebell Lane. And my father used to take us for rides in the country because, of course, I was born in England, and he used to have a bike that he put a little saddle on the crossbar, and I used to sit on that when I was very small. And the girls, you know, my sisters used to have bikes, and he used to take us for country rides and all that sort of thing. Let's see where I was up to with this. Oh, well, see, this is my pre-gridding days, and it's possible that I got a bit lost in there. But I mean, there's not a lot to go with that one, so I might give that one a go and finish that off. Right, what have we got here? Oh yes, The Lion King. My daughter was very keen on The Lion King. Now, designed by Sandra Paradise. Jan Lin. Kit contains 14 count navy Aida pre-sorted 6-strand cotton floss needle and a soft colour graph. Now this should have been simplicity itself, shouldn't it? I should have bowled this one over. And that's as far as I got with that one. And if memory serves me correctly, once again, pre-gridding days, and I think what happened was, up here in the sky, up here in the sky, as you can see, there's the lion. And I think I was getting a bit lost with that. So I have no doubt that now I could probably have managed that reasonably well. But I think I just got a little bit, you know, being busy and everything. I probably decided that life would be easier to put it away. Now this one is another one for my husband because he really likes Laura Keats, and it's this one here. Although this is Rosella's, but still, never mind. Country Threads from Fiona Jude Design Studio. And sorry, I'm getting a bit. I'll just put that over there so I don't lose all these bits and pieces. And they really are that vivid in colour. So that's that one. Reminds me of a Judith Wright poem. I'll have to get that one out and read it to you. Now this one was for Remembrance Day. We will not forget. And I think it needs a little bit of stretching and this and that one. In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row. All the families that sacrificed husbands and sons and daughters as well. We mustn't ever forget. Anchor, Premier Collection, Counted Cross Stitch, Cliff Top Footpath U. Now this one, I think what happened, it started to resemble an elbow. It was starting to go like that. And I think I started to think, oh, well, what am I doing here? I mean, I think this one's finished as well. How about that? Yeah, but it sort of went a little bit out of shape, but I think I could probably, tame it into a frame. And if I remember rightly, yes, there's a lot of French knots on there. So that's that one. Oh, another one that was destined for my daughter's bedroom wall and never got there. This is Bunnykins Counted Cross Stitch Collection. Umbrella sharing. There they are. And they're sweet. Now this one, what I should have done was get a bigger fabric so that I could do full crosses. Instead of which, I persisted and I did a kind of a tent stitch, but it took the whole thing out of shape. So it's one of those, unless I get a kind of a parallelogram type frame for it, it's not going to fit in too well. I mean, I suppose I could chop a bit off, like put a frame on, and I don't know what I'd do with it. Anyway, it got assigned to the container with all the other ones, and that's that one there. And it's possible that I will do that one again. I'll have to think about it. Floral view. I must have been... Oh no, I know with this one why I didn't continue with this one. I'll just show you this one. It's Anchor Premier Collection Counted Cross Stitch. Yes, Floral View. And what happened there was unforeseen circumstances, because I started it and I found that every time I stitched it I got a headache, and it turned out that it was that colour there. There's a certain colour of hot pink that I don't know if it still does now, but it gave me headaches, and I didn't work it out until there were a few other ones that I worked on, and I'd get a headache after I worked on them, and then I realised the common denominator was this hot pinky sort of colour. Now there was one that I got a headache, but I persisted because I wanted to finish it. It was for my mother-in-law, and I finished that, and it was a great big what are they called? I can see it, but I can't remember. Anyway, it was very pink. I did finish it, but I suffered for that picture. I'll show it to you sometime. Now this one. Now, I know what this one. This is the Gold Collection of Dimensions, Soul of the Rose, which you've probably seen it, I think. And what happened with this one was I didn't get it for me. I didn't get it for anyone. It was given to me. And I think I just ran out of steam because it wasn't really... I liked it, But I just started to, other things beckoned me, put it that way. So, I mean, I will finish her, but I don't know when. But I just wasn't feeling it. I mean, she looks like she can really smell that rose, doesn't she? So, oh well, anyway. You never know. Now this one, this is another The Gold collection. Which is another one I think you've probably seen, that one there. And I think what happened here, we were living in a fairly remote area, and it was before you could order lots of things on the internet and everything, you know, it was all in its infancy. So I ran out of some of the threads. I mean, that's a bit of a passion killer, isn't it, when you run out of threads? But see, well, I like the ocean. I like that bit. I think there's a lot of movement in there. And that bit there. And we've all seen that as the waves roll over. Right, so that might get another look in. This one, I think what happened with this one was I lost part of the chart. I've found it again now. This is a Jan Lynn. The Mother's Prayer quilt. I haven't seen this one on Flosstube, but I imagine there would be people who've done this one. And it's Mother's Prayer quilt. I pray when this quilt you see, you will know my wishes and dreams for thee. I pray these things I've taught you true, because, my child, I love you. It's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? And I mean, I have done quilting, but it's not something that I, you know, have. There are people that just, quilting is really big for them. I think, and some quilts are just fabulous works of art. I've done the unforgivable there and left a needle in the fabric. I haven't clapped eyes on this in a long time, so well, so, you know, if I was looking at this, I'd be thinking, what is the matter with that person? Why on earth, when she got so far, didn't she just keep going? Well, I'm sure it's because I lost part of the chart, and I don't really know why I did that, because it shouldn't have gone missing. But then when you've got a house full of children, you never know what might happen. I'll use that as an excuse anyway. And of course they've got here little sayings underneath, like it's got faith, hope, charity and love. That's the top three. Then there's health, wealth, happiness and peace. Independence, knowledge, friendship, success. Does it say that? Courage, honesty, thankfulness. Oh, unselfishness. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? That should be on everybody's wall. Should be compulsory. So that's that one. Now this is just gone past 30 minutes, so I'm wanting to make my videos shorter because, I mean, attention spans, and there's only so many hours in the day for people, so I might make this one my last one, and I'll do my other ones next time. Now this is another one. This is the red flowering gum, which is a eucalyptus. Now, I thought that was lovely, and it is lovely, but I fell into the same problem with the headache. I got a migraine from doing it, and that's why I stopped doing this one. Maybe I need some sunglasses. I'm working on it or something. So that's why that one was abandoned. Right, well, as I say, I wanted to keep this fairly short. I do have some other ones here that I can show you, but I'll show you those maybe next time when I introduce again my Cézanne's Harlequin that I'm doing. Someone pointed out to me that there is a site that you can get that particular design from now, which I will show you that when I come back next time. I'll give you the details there if anyone's interested. I did look at it, and it's going to be interesting to see the contrast, because on the one that's for sale, you know, that's on the internet, it might have been tweaked a little bit colour-wise. I'm not quite sure. So be interesting. I almost felt like getting one so I could stitch that, so I could compare it, because that shouldn't be a problem for me, because I'm very good at doubling up on things, as you know. But anyway, I don't think I'd go that far. Anyway, I just thought that I would, as I say, show you a few of me things, and I shall catch you next time. All the best to you in your stitching and your endeavours until I see you again. So it's goodbye from Stitch Bliss Corner.